even in Christianity, you would see that a ban on sexual power, which is the root to power, existed and was implanted from the very first book of the scripture. So, from the very beginning, your power has been caged, told to you that it is devilish. We are sexual beings because we are electromagnetic. We are sexual beings because we are electromagnetic. And when religion places restriction on the true knowledge of sexuality, they take away your birthright of electromagnetic power. Whatever human beings create, nothing can be greater in power than a human being. Therefore, the creation of a human being is at the height of human creativity. Sexuality is creativity. Whatever human beings can create, whether it is a spaceship or the quantum computer or an artificial intelligence, whatever we create, it can never be superior to the one embodiment of the consciousness of the universe. That is a human being. Therefore, the human being is the height, the highest expression of spiritual power attained through sexual dance. Therefore, everything else we create comes below the supremacy of the human being. It comes below it. Therefore, when we talk of sexuality, we are not just talking about sexual intercourse. No. And that is where the restriction came. Whether it is a lack of understanding or it was a conspiracy, still the restriction has been placed on sexuality instead of educating the people on what sexuality actually is. Since it actually holds the truth, and the truth shall definitely set you free, and religion doesn't really want you to be free, it explains a lot. The two halves of the brain. The left brain, which is masculine. The right brain, which is feminine, creative. The left brain is electric, induced. The left brain, which is analytical. The right brain is essentially creative. Even if you are creating or preparing soup or a meal, it comes with ingredients, how it is measured, how it is calibrated, the salt, the spices. All of that is analytical. It is left brain. Whilst the finesse, the creativity with which you bring to preparing sweet meal, that is creative, that is feminine. These two is sexual. The analytical left brain, the creative right brain, coming together to create a simple, beautiful meal. It is sexual. Understand, when you assemble all the ingredients of the food, how do you think those ingredients suddenly transform into that food, that meal? It is a creation. That meal did not exist. It didn't exist anywhere into the universe until you manifested it, created it with your sexual power by combining these ingredients. We are creators. Why don't you want to embody that? Why don't you want to investigate and live to the highest possibility of that word, creator? Why has it been demonized? It is the root of your power. But the world in which we live, for the longest time, those forces that wish to keep the world as it is, decided on their own, with their own agenda, that they are going to keep certain knowledge hidden, suppress power of humanity, which is deeply rooted in sexuality or sexual knowledge. It is not sexual intercourse and sexual morality. That is not what we are talking about here. Sexual morality is an abuse of sexual power. If you do not understand power, you abuse it. you abuse it. And the inability to have access to this knowledge has basically caused the immensity of sexual power to be clogged like a dam that is overflowing. At this point in time, in this new age, the dam, the water pressure behind the dam, and that dam is sexual energy of the world, has been backed up, has been gathering behind this dam. This dam, the wall, is weakening. It has become very weak and there has been cracks. Now, this wall comes down. What do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a huge pressure, flood of sexual energy. This is why you see in social media, now in this modern society, we have something we call sexual liberation. All this and the nuances of it, the negative side of it, wouldn't have happened if sexual power had been properly tempered with and harnessed. Instead of suppressing it, we should have been harnessing it. Young ones, young adults, teenagers are at the height of their sexual peak. Why did nature make us this way? Why did our creators make us this way? Where during the adolescent stage, this is where we reach our sexual peak. Because sexuality is creative. That is the formative year. That is where we are supposed to use sexual energy that is bubbling within us fresh and vibrant to create the foundation of our lives. Developing talents, initiating intense spiritual processes, elevating consciousness, which we will need to become the leaders we are supposed to be in the future. So young ones essentially have all this sexual energy. They don't have the knowledge to harness it. And what happens? Nature abhors a vacuum, so nature takes over, and all these young ones are moving into sexual promiscuity. They have nothing to do with it. The world has failed. The young generation has been failing the young generation. Our generation, generations of our parents and our grandparents, it started long ago. And we are grasping at straws at it, not knowing what to do with it. And nature will always do what it does best to propagate the race. So if you are not using your sexual energy to elevate your consciousness, to be creative and to create your world, because every solution in the world should be creative. If you are not doing that, then nature is going to use the sexual energy to reproduce itself. That is it. You watch animals, all that they do is mate. They hunt, eat, sleep, mate. The power of creativity of the higher mind is afforded to humans for a reason. And that is the sense of our domination on the world. To be responsible for the world. But the misunderstanding of sexual energy as power, it is what has brought the world to its knees. We're on the verge of nuclear holocaust. Simple decisions, holistic decisions that can actually heal the world, to reset the chaos we are bringing to nature. All of that, we are not being able to create simple creative decisions to help the world and our society. Creativity is at an all-time low. You watch some of the decisions our leaders make. It is amazing how they get to be leaders. And yet they are from the society. They are children of the society. They are the embodiment of all that is wrong in the society. So why do we keep blaming leaders? We made them. We are all part and parcel of the whole. Let us understand the mystery of sexuality. That is power. Not to be shunned, but to be understood. And when you suppress sexuality, you suppress power, our ability to create ourselves new. If we don't do that, if the planet keeps turning itself, moving into new energies and new dimensions, it will be disastrous for us. If we fail to live up to the mandate as guardians and stewards of Earth, we will be replaced. We will be replaced.